Wow, that does a good job. Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'll do the first look on how to set up the Dreame D20 Pro Plus robot vacuum cleaner. Now I did buy this with my own money. I wasn't paid for this video. It retails for $365. I did get it on sale for $329. It's back up to $369. But if you want to find the latest sales on the robots that I recommend, check out my website, justadadapproved.com. Now this is the Pro version, which I think does have some really nice upgraded features. Earlier, I did review the Plus. That's the D20 without the Pro in it. And that's an awesome robot vacuum cleaner. Now, once I get this review done, I will do a comparison between the two. So in this video, what you can expect is I've got it unboxed. We're going to put it together. We're going to connect it to our smartphone. We're going to map our house. Then we're going to do a first cleaning with the mop. And then with some dirt and debris on the carpet, we'll do a vacuum test. Again, I do use links, so if you go to my website or if there's something that pops up in the video or links in my description, if you use one of those on my website, or though, the product won't cost you anymore, but I do get a small commission from the sale. It's a way of helping support my channel. Okay, let's get started. So here's everything that comes in the box. Here's the robot vacuum cleaner. I love that it has LiDAR navigation. It does have a mop pad. It's got a power cord we've got installed. It does have an extra dust bag. I do like that it comes with a paper manual. This is how to set it up. We've got this little ramp here that goes on the dock. So we do need to make sure to install that. Make sure that's nice and flush. Here's the docking station. So the docking station is going to auto empty the dust bin and charge it. You'll be responsible for cleaning the mop pad yourself. But again, I do like that this has LiDAR navigation. It's going to map your house. And in the Dreame app, you can put no-go zones, put it on a schedule, and it's going to vacuum and mop in nice straight lines. And so when it vacuums your house, everything's going to go into this dust bin back here, which I'm going to show you. At the end of the job, it's going to come back to the base station. Another vacuum is going to kick on inside the base station and suck everything out into this dust bag. And this dust bag, you got to change about every 2 to 3 months, depending on how much dirt and debris is in there. You just pull that straight up, throw that away, and slide a new one in there. Make sure when you slide it in, it goes down all the way. There is a micro switch. On the bottom of the base station, if you get a clog in that suction port, you can take these screws off and unclog it. Now the power cord is 3-prong. It's 6 feet long, and we got to plug it in. Make sure when you plug it in, it's nice and flush here. Make sure this switch is on. That's off. The circle is off. The line is on. Now you're going to plug it into 120 volts, 60 hertz. It consumes about 4 amps whenever it's emptying the dust bin. The docking station front to back is 17.5 inches or 44 centimeters. Left to right, about 11 3/4 or 30 centimeters. Now height-wise, it's only 18 inches or 45 centimeters, but you do have to lift this up about a 1/2 inch to get it off. Okay, now let's talk about the robot. Take these plastic bumper guards out. This does have the bumper on it. Now it's free to use, but it has LiDAR navigation. That's going to help with obstacle avoidance. And there's also this sensor on the front. I do love that it's got a sensor here on the side. When it's in the corner, it's going to extend this side brush into the corner. That's a really cool feature. 2 physical buttons up here, a power button. This is also a start and a pause button, and this is also to tell it to go back to the dock. Let's measure the unit. 35 centimeters or 13 3/4 of an inch. To the top of the LiDAR is 3 7/8 of an inch or 9.5 centimeters. Now, if we look around back here, this is where the exhaust air is going to come out. We lift this lid up. This is the dust bin. So when it vacuums your house, everything's going to get sucked into this dust bin. At the end of the job, everything gets sucked out of the dust bin. But this filter, you do have to clean this filter about every couple weeks. It is reusable. I do like that. And it's easy to take in and out. But you do have to let it dry in the sun. There's instructions up here. Put that back on. Make sure it snaps in. There's a little lever up there to click. This is the water tank. So you're just going to put water in here. This does have a water pump that's going to spray water down in 3 spots to keep the mop pad nice and wet. And we can vary the level of wetness in the app. But you're just going to fill this up with water. It is kind of a nice big tank. And again, it is removable, and just snap it on. Here's the bottom of the robot. Here's where that water is going to get sprayed out. And you're going to have to put the mop pad on and off. It doesn't lift it up or down. Now there is a carpet sensor. Well, I didn't get that on right. There, now it's clicked in. So when it's mopping, it's just dragging the mop pad on the floor. It doesn't push it down, it doesn't lift it up or anything, but it can keep it wet. Here's where it auto empties. This is the dual roller design. See how one end is open? The long hair, this is really good for long hair. The long hairs are not going to wrap around this. They're going to wrap around, but then be directed to the end and get sucked in. One's got kind of rubber, and this has got kind of bristles on it. This does come apart for easy cleaning. And then you can push one back on. And line these arrows up when you put this on. This all comes assembled, but you will have to take this apart and clean it. Put the front feet in. Here's the side brush that it's going to extend into the corner. It does have a carpet sensor. Here's the charging points. This wheel just spins free. These are the cliff sensors, so it doesn't fall down your stairs. You will need to clean these glass sensors about every 30 hours or so. Here's the main drive wheels. Mop pad is exactly 11¼ inches or 29 centimeters. Cleaning area is about 14 centimeters or 5½ inches. Now with this carpet sensor, the robot's going to know when that mop pad's installed, and it's going to avoid your carpet. Again, it can't lift the mop pad up or down. You can see whenever this is installed, it's just going to be dragging the mop pad, keeping it wet, but it's just dragging it on the floor to mop. It's going to do just an okay job of mopping. It's not the best as far as spinning mop pads or something. You're going to have to pinch these tabs, take it off. You'll be responsible for putting this in the laundry yourself, cleaning this. It's just held on with Velcro and this track, so you'll take it off and you'll get another one or wash this because this will capture the dirt and the mud, and then you got to put it on after it's cleaned. It's very simple. Slide that in that track. Whoops, I got it on backwards. And make sure you engage the Velcro. So you'll also be responsible for when you want to just vacuum only. So when you want to vacuum carpet, you're going to take this off because the robot can't lift it up. So it won't wet the mop pad, but it will be dragging it across. So yeah, line it up. Kind of find the center. There. Now it's clicked on. And the robot will know when that's installed. In the app, it won't let you do a mopping event if this is not installed. Okay, I've got the docking station plugged in. The white light is on. Now we're going to dock it and charge it. And we're going to connect it to we're going to reset the Wi-Fi. But lift this up. You should see the lights come on. It's going to play a tune and say charging. Take the mop pad off. We're going to map our house without the mop pad. And then we're going to scan that code. There's the tune it plays. And it should say charging. That's how you know you got it docked right. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so you got to get the Dreame app. It's free to use, but you got to create a username and password. And you may see this scanned QR code to give it access to your camera. We're going to take this down here and you're going to scan that QR code. Line it up in here. Now it says it's already turned on, so bypass this. Hit next. You want to press and hold the clean and dock button for 3 seconds. All right, so now we can close this. And there is a Wi-Fi light here if you have some trouble, and there's a reset right there, a little paperclip reset. But now we want to hold these two outer buttons at the same time.
Waiting for the network configuration.
Okay. Come back to your app, hit I heard, and hit next. Okay, this only works on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Select your Wi-Fi from the list, give it your Wi-Fi password, hit next. Now we got to connect to the robot's going to, that robot is transmitting a Wi-Fi signal that we have to join. So hit join. If this isn't automatic, you may have to manually go in and connect to the Wi-Fi being transmitted by the robot, but normally this works. Both those lights are flashing down there. And now this works really good.
Robot and phone connected. Please return to app to wait for the successfully.
All right, we're waiting on 3. This takes a couple minutes. Give it a name. the D20 Pro Plus. All right, we got some battery percentage. I'm going to verify the update, make sure, because I do recommend doing all updates. You may get a pop-up, so before you're using, you have to agree to this. Now this is the user experience, so do you want the side brush to extend? That's the default, yes. And it's going to walk you through. There's the map display, map editing. Now we're going to hit start fast mapping, but first let's just check firmware update. I want to turn this on. Now it may take a while. It says I have the latest version, 1533. I recommend having that on auto. You may get a pop-up saying sometime to do the update. I do recommend doing all updates. Okay, we'll go through the settings, but first let's do the fast mapping.
Start mapping.
Now, if you need to add a virtual ramp, you can add this while it's mapping. Even if you need to add a no-go zone. This is really important. I can't stress this enough. This is kind of a neat feature. So the robot's going to undock. It's going to randomly go through your house. Sit back and enjoy. The LiDAR is absolutely what I love. It's going to make the map of your house. Now, it doesn't do very tall thresholds. I've got this threshold set up for testing other robots that actually do thresholds, but this is going to be a little workhorse though for vacuuming. If I could put a ramp there, and then in the app I would say I would add the ramp, and then it would go in there during the map. This is all, these two buttons you can do during the mapping process. That's kind of a nice feature. And say you have an area where you're like, oh, I know it's not going to map that. It's like going to have all kinds of trouble. I just need to stay away. You can put a no-go zone there as it gets closer to that. So we're just going to sit back. This doesn't take very long at all. It's just so cool to watch it create the map. And it does a really good job. And that D20 Plus over there has been a little power horse. That thing's been cleaning the studio now every day. And it just makes it back to the dock. It's doing a great job. Easy to use. I had no idea about the Pro. Somebody told me. I'm thankful somebody told me in the comment section. And as soon as they told me, I went and looked, and sure enough, there's a Pro model, and I went and bought it. So this is going to be a really good robot. A little high right now, 365. It's not going to be a really good mopping robot. The mopping robots, you do need to step up into a base station that washes the mops. But, you know, for around $300, but, you know, you can get the Dreame L10S right now for $300. So we saw a little side brush extend there. Not sure why, but this thing should turn out to be pretty good. We're going to sit back and watch, and we'll go over the recommended settings and how to edit the map. Okay, when it's all done, it's going to come back to the docking station. That took maybe 10 minutes. And now we're going to edit the map, and it's just going to pull straight on when it wants to dock. Wasn't sure if it said charge.
Completed. Start charging.
There, that's what you want to hear when you dock it. If you have to manually dock it, make sure you hear that start charging. Okay, here's the map, and then it should divide up into different colors of rooms. It does a really good job of mapping. I can't tell you. Wow. It even tells you where the carpet is. And it will, man, it did a good job. Normally robots don't show you, man, that did a really good job showing where the carpet was. Normally that carpet detection gets better as it cleans your house. It didn't detect, so yeah, see this big area here is carpet, but that's okay. All right, it did a really good job. So let's edit the map. Click this little one with the pencil. First, we're going to do room partitions, then we'll walk through the rest of these. And take your time with this. Like this room, I want to divide. So click the room you want to divide, then hit divide. You're going to get this line. Now this needs a couple divides. There's a door right here. Now, I like to divide things into like hallways. They can do differently. Where's that door? It's right here. Doors are a good place to divide rooms, but you don't have to. And you can always re-divide rooms up later. If you've got too many rooms, you can merge them together. So let's divide this room one more time. Select, yeah. You can pinch and zoom. I want to divide this room up right here. And again, it won't divide until that's solid. There. Now we're going to go into naming, I think. Yeah. So while this is still up, let's name them. Now it is important to use the names they have if that's what it is, but you can put custom there too. Like ping pong table or, oops. Corner testing area, confirm, yep. This will help with your automations and later, so take your time, divide the rooms accordingly, and name them accordingly. I've never had to hide a room, but you can't hide a room, I guess. All right, now let's do ground environment. So this corner test, select it, hit floor material. You're going to pick the direction. We got to do more in the settings, but for right now, let's pick the floor direction. It'll mop in this floor direction. That's not the direction I needed to go this way. So see how the hardwood floor is going this way? You can get it to show that in the app and hit confirm. And it will mop in that direction, but we got to turn it on. And you can update this later. Now carpet, it's going to ask you to update carpet as it cleans your house. So you can add a carpet right now if you want. I would let it clean your house a couple times, and then you'll know where the carpet is, and then you can fine tune the carpet. So I don't do carpet right now, but you can fine tune it as it learns your house. These things get smarter and smarter as they learn your house. Now this is important, no-go zones. You can do virtual walls, which is a line. You can make it big or small. You can put it at the entrance of a room. So I know this door, so say I don't want it to go into this room right here, I would just put it right there. I typically don't use those. I typically use no-go zones. That's a square. Now the robot's going to stay completely out of that area. I know back here where there's some computer cables, and I can make that big or small. All right, and I'm going to hit there, hit the check mark, and it adds it. Let's go back. You can do no mop zones. So when you fine tune this later on, like if you see it mopping somewhere it shouldn't, now it does have a carpet sensor, but you may need to like fine tune it and say, I want this whole area, don't mop it. Even if it's a place that doesn't, like say it's a hardwood floor you just don't want mopped. You can put a no mopping zone. So anytime the mop pad's installed, it'll stay away from there. But if a no-go zone, it'll stay away from there with or without the mop pad installed. Furniture, I've never really done this. Appliances, more cabinets. I guess that's nice if you take your time and add all that stuff. I'm not sure exactly what the point of that is, of the furniture. Cleaning sequence. Now this one's really important. Whenever it does a global cleaning, what order do you want it to go in? So let's say you have it start cleaning in the morning and your rooms are back here. Well, it might be best if it cleans out here first and works its way back. That way, by the time you make it out to the kitchen, it's clean. And you're going to do that simply by dragging the order, and that's where these names come into play. So take the corner test, drag it all the way up, hold it on the three little lines, and drag it. Same with room 7. Or room 6. Drag it. And then you can change out the order. See there it says room 6 is going to be clean 2 now. So hit the little check mark. And if you mess with the rooms later, it's going to remind you that you're going to get this. Please confirm the cleaning sequence again. Now, virtual thresholds. This thing cannot do thresholds very good. It doesn't have anything to lift. That takes more expensive robots, but you can put ramps. And then that's where you would put a passable threshold, impassable threshold, or a ramp. So if you got some place where you don't want it to go, if you don't want it to fall down the stairs, but it does have cliff sensors, so you shouldn't have to use those. Now we've got everything. You want to rename the map. You can do multiple maps. This is the upstairs. So I did that in name. You could back up the map. That way you don't lose it. Click the 3 little lines. You can restore or delete the map. And you can go into multi-floor management. You can turn on multi-floors, and you could create another map of another floor. This will do up to 4. This is how the map is displayed. You've got the 3D. The 3D is not too bad. Again, it gets smarter as it develops, but you can see it's got a little bit ways to go. So let's go back just to, to 2. I like the 2D. Nope. 2D. This seems a little easier to use. This is like a smart reminder that's constantly coming up. When the app wants to tell you something, it's going to pop up from this little like robot thing. Okay, we have our map established. Click the 3 little lines. Cleaning history is where you're going to find where it cleaned. This is the number one thing I tell people: put it on a schedule. Hit the little plus button. Tell it what time to start, how often, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Clean your entire house. Now, it's going to be a little tricky because you got to take the mop pad on and off when you want it to vacuum your floors. So I would at the very least put it on a vacuum your entire house. I'm going to turn that off, but I would have it vacuum your entire house. And then when you wanted to mop, then just go up and put the mop pad on. All right. Carpet settings. This is really important. Vacuum. The robot will only vacuum the carpeted area without mopping. Now, carpet boost. These are getting very quiet as far as robot vacuum cleaners. You can leave that on, but anytime it's on carpet, it's going to boost its suction power, which can be a little annoying, but they're getting really quieter. Avoid means it will completely avoid carpet, and ignore means it will mop the carpet. So be careful with that one. I would leave it on. It's going to vacuum the carpet without mopping. Carpet settings, yeah. Floor cleaning settings. This is where we're going to turn on clean along floor direction. So if you have hardwood floors, and in the app, if you told it what direction the hardwood floor is on, now when you turn this on, it will actually do that. Collision avoidance mode, I mean, it's on by default. I would leave it on. I've never had a trouble with that one. AI mop extend, you can turn that on, which that's the whole point of having it. And then standard performs it every 7 days. Intelligent, the robot will, or high. I mean, I don't mind high extending that mop, the side brush, but you can leave it in smart. Dock settings, auto empty. I like high frequency. You could turn it off so it doesn't disturb you, but that's another setting for do not disturb. But standard, high, or low. I mean, I want that dustbin emptied as often as possible, because that's where your low suction is going to come from, that filter getting clogged up. Language and volume, you can adjust everything there. More functions. Do not disturb, make sure that's on. These things will start in the middle of the night, and you can adjust the time. Off-peak charging's off by default, because see, the resume cleaning mode is on. So if it doesn't finish your house, it's going to go back and charge. And then once it's charged up, it'll go back and finish the job. And that could be at 2 in the morning. So make sure do not disturb is on. Child lock is off by default notification. Remote control and Wi-Fi management. I've never had to use the remote control. Accessories. This is when it's going to be time to... Now that filter, that needs cleaned every couple of weeks. They kind of leave that in small print. It doesn't even say it in this one. And then you have to reset the timer after 150 hours. Side brush, 200 hours, you need to replace it. Main brush, 300 hours. You have to reset the reminder. Sensors are every 30 hours, so this is the one you'll be doing a lot. Mop pad replace as needed. Dust bag replace as needed. And the front wheel replace as needed. Help takes you to a website, or you can view the manuals. That takes you to a website. Device information, there's where you change the name, the time zone, square feet or square meters. And then that, suggestions, device sharing if you want to share it with somebody with their email. Make sure firmware updates is on. So this did not have an update out of the box, and delete device. Okay. That pretty much goes through the settings. If you go back here, this is like your home screen. Whenever you first log in, if you have multiple ones, you'll see them here. But if you want to connect this to your smart speakers, I'm not going to say the words, but click on the little me icon and then voice control. And this is where you pick those. This one works the best, the Apple one. It's all right here in the app. These will take you to where you got to do some work in those apps. All right, go back to devices, then hit enter device. Now, when it's on all, when you press clean, it's going to clean the entire house. But let's pick on custom. You can do vacuum, mop, vacuum and mop, or custom. Now, these are not highlighted because the mop pad's not installed. Once I install the mop pad, those will be installed. Those will be clickable. We can do quiet, standard, turbo, or max. Max plus is really loud, but it does offer the most suction. 2 cleaning patterns. So let's go fill up the water tank, which is real easy. Just press that button. We're going to pre-wet the mop pad. All right, fill the water tank up. It's actually a pretty big water tank. I don't know if you'll get a notification if it's low or not, but it's clear, so you'll see if it's got water in it. And then it does help if you kind of pre-wet the mop pad. You know, just get the water on it a little bit. Okay, let's go down here and I'll show you. So taking the water tank on and off, super simple. The mop pad, it's designed to just go on, and then sometimes you'll hear mop pad installed, and then to take it off, just take it off. So again, you'll be responsible once it's dirty to take it off. There, it's installed. Now you'll know it's installed because now we can do mop, and then you can do 1 to 30 levels of wetness, vacuum and mop, or you can do customize each room. You select the room, and then you pick how much what you want to do to each individual room. So we're going to do vacuum and mop. Oh, we'll do standard, wetness level, kind of like right to here, and a standard cleaning pattern. If we go to mop only, we do get an intense cleaning pattern. But we'll do vacuum and mop. Okay, we're going to do our room. We can do up to 3 passes. I'll do 2 passes. Vacuum and mop, standard, wetness at 24, and standard cleaning pattern. So let's go. It'll travel to the world famous Just a Dad Corner Cleaning Studios, and we'll do the mopping test. After this, we will do carpet cleaning over here on the carpet testing area. All right, so it undocked itself. Now, again, the mop pad is down while it's traveling to that. So if it has to cross carpet, it could be troublesome. Okay, let's see how the Dreame D20 Pro Plus cleans up this big mess in this room. I'm glad that it has LiDAR navigation because it's going to, after it does the perimeter of the room, it's going to go back and forth in nice straight lines. And it does have a side brush it can extend into the corner. Wow, it does a good job. We're also going to check obstacle avoidance with the kids' Lego toy. Now this is kitty litter. Kitty litter can be really hard to pick up. It can also go under furniture that's 4 inches tall. Okay, so it did the perimeter of the room first. Now it did sense that kid's toy. It was traveling to that corner so it could go back and forth in the nice straight lines. Getting a little close to that kid's toy, but that's fine, I guess. Obstacle avoidance is just going to be okay on it. It's not going to be the best. All right, now it's going to go back and forth in the straight lines. And it is mopping and vacuuming at the same time. So it looks like some of the kitty litter is making a mess. It's in the mop pad right now. So this is the first time doing kitty litter. You should probably do a vacuum first before you start mopping up kitty litter. This is the really cheap stuff from Walmart. I'll show you a picture of it, but it's making quite a big mess. All right. So it is avoiding that kid's toy. Now again, this is just going to be for everyday mopping. And it is going to do 2 passes on this. That's a little bit dried on. Yeah, first time doing kitty litter that much. I had a request to do kitty litter, so I thought, I've normally been doing kitty litter, and maybe I should have ramped the suction up quite a bit. There's max. And I can ramp the wetness up. So there is wetness all the way up. We can see it went around that kid's toy. Nice straight lines. Yeah, kitty litter. It just got embedded into the mop pad, and that's going to be tricky. So again, I recommend doing a vacuum first and then mop. Now that's not an option in the settings. I wish it was. I wish it was. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. No, vacuum then mop. That's what you want. Okay, here's the second pass. That's just incredible. That corner is perfectly clean. We're going to check for long hair wrap. Here's the kitty litter. This is the cheapest stuff from Walmart. I have had a few people ask me if kitty litter makes a problem. I did put quite a bit down. Normally I know the spinning mop pads they seem to capture it more. I've never had too much of, because I've been using kitty litter before, just it's been intermixed with the dirt and debris over there in the side. This was the first time I actually put kitty litter in a big area. It's just not able to scrub the kitty, whatever that is. But I'll let it go. We got 2 passes to do. I love that on the second pass, it does the perimeter of the room. Not all robots do that. So it's done doing the perimeter. Now it's going to go back and forth in the nice straight lines. Don't let what you're seeing with the kitty litter distract you or think this is a bad robot. Now, it's probably not going to be a good robot if you have a bunch of kitty litter, but do a vacuum first. And that's where these robots, the cheaper robots, are a little bit more work on your part. You know, you've got to take the mop pad on and off. I've got the water cranked all the way up. You can see there's a little bit of mud there still, so even that was a pretty mild muddy paw print area. Spinning mop pads can do a lot more mud. So this is just everyday mopping, but again, this is going to be a vacuum. This is going to be a recommendation for me for vacuum only. Just take the mop pad off. They don't make a lot of robots that just vacuum only. They're throwing mop pads on way too many robots and calling them a combo unit. Just like this. I mean, it's going to be an okay mop, but very just limited. But vacuuming, this is where this is going to shine. With that side brush, the dual roller that prevents long hair from clogging, that's where this is going to shine. So if you want a robot and you're like, I want a robot that doesn't have a mop pad, just don't use the mop pad. Just leave it off. It has way too many good functions to discount it for not being a good robot just because it has a mop. Just because you're wanting one without a mop pad, don't discount this. That obstacle avoidance is okay. It's not a camera. So if you're worried about privacy, it's not taking pictures, even though it kind of looks like a camera. Yeah, if I do the white glove test, you can see there's dirt. But that's where it's going to shine, vacuuming. And if it hadn't have gotten the kitty litter wet, it would have picked up all the kitty litter, I think. Yeah, this is definitely going to go on my website, justadadapproved.com. It's going to get a gold star probably because I get a lot of requests for robots without a mop. I turned it down to quiet. Yeah. So when it's going back to the dock, we'll stop it. Look at the long hair wrap. Look at the mop pad. Yeah, it doesn't vibrate it. Roborock makes the Q10. If you're wanting one like this, that's a little bit better mop, it's still a lot of work on your part. You got to take the mop pad on and off. But the Q10 does vibrate it, but it doesn't keep it as wet as good as this. So I'll have to do a comparison. These are just not mopping robots. It's just no other way to put it. Mopping robots are like that. The Mova P10 Pro, Dreame L50s, Roborock Saros 10R. All right. Hate to do this because this can disturb the long hair wrap. Wow. Bunch of big chunks of long hair in there. All right. Now let's flip it over. There's where that kitty litter got in there. All right, let's take a look. Couple long hairs on this. This is, I think it's the anti-tingle, but it does come here, so the brushes should take it off. So, but no long hair clumps, or we've got some wet kitty litter in there, but did a pretty good job. No long hair clumps. And now we'll do the carpet test. I might as well take this off. Let's see.
Mop pads removed.
Yeah, it knows when the mop pad's installed. All right.
Returning to the dock.
Yeah, see, that's having a water pump and 3 spots where it keeps it wet. It's actually pretty good. The Roborock only has 1 spot to keep the mop pad wet, and it's not very good. But it vibrates it, so. And it can lift it up and down. Lots of variables when it comes to these. That's why when it's a robot that mops, I just recommend one with these base stations. All right, here it goes. We'll do volume on the auto empty. And we should hear a thunk with all the dirt and debris going into the dustbin.
Start charging. Start auto empty.
about 80, 81. All right, let's just verify. Sometimes they can't remove everything. Wow, everything came out. Now that did get stuck. I don't like that was... All right, we have a problem. All right, let's take a closer look. So wet kitty litter, I think, might be causing the problem. But so this was stuck open a little bit. Now, I'm not super worried about that because once suction is created, it wasn't enough. It wasn't like it was jammed. Once I touched it, it just closed. So once the vacuum starts vacuuming, this should suck closed. So even though it was open a little bit, this trap door is fine. Yeah, that's why these need cleaned every couple weeks. The auto empty system just doesn't get that clean, and that's where you're going to lose your low suction. They're all like this. There's no one has figured that out yet. So that's okay. So it's been about 30-40 minutes since I did the corner cleaning test. I had it do some cleaning over here. It identified this as carpet. So now we're going to do the carpet cleaning test. Again, kitty litter, coffee, long hairs all throughout, confetti, some more kitty litter, obstacle. So long hairs all throughout this, not kind of in one big area, but all strewn throughout. Okay, so I've got room selected, 2 cycles, vacuum only. I'm going to go to max. We'll play around with these others. That's going to be really loud, but it is going to have the best suction. And so let's start cleaning.
Start selected room cleaning.
Okay, let's see how the Dreame D20 Pro cleans up this big mess in this room. First thing it's going to do, it's going to do the perimeter of the room first, then it's going to go back and forth and make the straight lines. Now it does have a side brush that it can extend into the corner. Again, once it does the perimeter of the room, now it's going to go back and forth and make the straight lines. All right, I turned it up to max plus suction. That's kitty litter right there. Now I've got it on 2 passes, so the first pass is going to be up, down, then the second pass will be left, right. So it looks like it is recognizing that obstacle, and it's going to go around it. Now sometimes it does get too close to obstacles. This is not going to have the best obstacle avoidance, but it does have some. Yeah, I would like it to stay just a little farther away from that. But I do think it's a good vacuum. That up since it knocked it over. Wow, it's doing a good job. It's doing a good job on the kitty litter. We did get a little bit of hair clump, but it's got one more pass to get it. A little bit of another hair clump there. So it does develop a wobble once in a while. I think I've seen that, and I think I've heard other people talk about that on really thick, this is really thick carpet. I have to keep an eye on that. I don't notice it that often. Like there, it's got that, once a wobble starts, then it kind of progressively gets worse. Now we're going to check all the long hair, see if there's long hair wrapped around the wheels. We'll check the dustbin. We did get just a few clumps. One over here. Did not get all the coffee. Yeah, this carpet definitely needed 2 passes. This is a really big mess. Earlier I had it clean this room and I saw the wobble twice. I think I've seen it 3 times now on this section. Now there is quite a bit of air coming out the back on that side, so it does blow some of the confetti. Again, I do have it on its maximum suction. So I think it's going to go do the perimeter of the room again. Yep, we're on the second pass. So again, the first thing it does on the second pass is the perimeter of the room. Now I've got the room cut off like right here. Here's what the map shows. That's where that obstacle was. It struggled around here because I was standing there one time when it saw me, when it was close. So sometimes it kind of struggles anytime you stand around it. Yeah, I would like to see it go in a nice straight line here, but again, I was standing there one time when I went, and it kind of thinks I'm still standing there. Now it's not going all the way up against that wall because that bamboo is sticking down far enough to where the LiDAR thinks the wall's farther out than it actually is because that brown bamboo is sticking out. Now I do like this feature, so say it's bothering you, you can tell it to leave this room, go to the next room, and you can add an extra clean. So say the kids make a mess over here, you could add an extra clean. That's a really nice feature. Okay, now we're getting the back and forth. Let me play with suction. There's quiet. So quiet is super quiet. Not sure how good the suction will be, but now there's no way of turning that side brush on or off on carpet. I know Dreame has that option on some of their more advanced ones, but on this, I didn't see it in the settings. So that side brush is on all the time. Let's go, that's quiet. Let's go to standard. There's what standard sounds like. A little louder. Turbo. So turbo's not much, it's the same as standard as far as loudness. Max, turbo are the same sound, but once you go to that, then it really ramps up the suction or the decibel level. Now it's not doing a perfect job, but it's doing a pretty good job. Blowing some of the confetti around. This is still going to be just a dad approved. It's just a good price point. There's some of that hair it left. Now that double roller is just like on the X50, and I had the X50 at my house for a couple months and I didn't have any problems with that double roller, the brush roller, long hair getting clogged in it or anything. Did leave a little bit of hair there. It's doing pretty good on the coffee. It did really good on the kitty litter. Got a little bit more to go. So it is leaving a little bit of hair, okay. A little bit of coffee, kitty litter's gone, a little bit of hair, some confetti. You know, I'd say 90% clean.
Returning to the dock to charge.
Let's take a look. It did blow some confetti over here. All right, so. Wow, that's a lot of debris. All right, that's closed, that's good. No long hairs, no long hairs. I did see some long hairs kind of get in here on the other one without the Pro, but they're the same wheels and everything. Long hair wrap, no long hair wrap. Okay, so it is doing as advertised. Is it getting every, no, it's not picking up every single, it's not picking up every single hair. It was a pretty extensive test, but the main thing is there's no hair wrap. So the next time it cleans your house, it's going to get it. These can be tricky. Click, click. Both clicked. So now we'll check the auto empty. That's a lot to auto empty. Battery's getting low. There's the cleaning pattern. Doesn't really show that wobble. A little concerning. I've heard other people talk about that a little bit. I will keep my eye on that. Again, typically you don't see it because these are on a schedule and they're cleaning your room, so you may not see the wobble, but you see the nice straight lines. Yeah, so for me, you know, the mopping was very limited. There is the mop pad we can see. Earlier I did some mopping with it. It did just an okay job. It can't lift the mop pad or it can't push it down. This is strictly going to be a really good vacuum.
Start charging. Start auto empty.
I didn't hear the thunk, but oh yeah, that did a good job. You've got some stuff on the filter. They're all like that, but everything's closed. Okay, so we're good. Auto empty is checked good. So I've been doing several videos on the brand new Narwhal Flow. Again, my top rated one is the MOBA P10 Pro still, gold star, on my website, justadadapproved.com. Again, I bought this with my own money. In the video, if there's a pop-up, or in my description, or on my website, if you purchase the product using my link, the product won't cost you anymore, but I do get a small commission from the sale. It's a way of helping support my channel. That way I can continue to do these reviews. So again, this is going to be a highly recommended one for me for vacuum only. Mopping's limited, as we can see. I do like that side brush extending, but it's going to be about $30 more than the one without the Pro. But these things were brand new and they were on sale like the first week. I just love that robots go on sale. We can save so much money. Sign up for my email. So if a robot is on my website and I'm constantly watching, if it goes on sale, I send an email out. I just sent one out, like the Dreame L10S was $300. Oh my gosh, is it the most advanced robot in the world? No, but it's actually a really good robot for $300. Again, same with these. When these are dropped below $300, I probably wouldn't pay full price for that. Again, if you did pay full price for it, you're going to have a relatively good user experience. Is it going to be the best as like some $1,000 robot? No. When these things become under $300, it's going to be really, really hard to beat with that 13,000 pascals of suction, that double brush roller. I do see some people in the comments leave that Dreame brush roller leaves clumps. I haven't experienced it. I have in my testing area, I use wigs and it's kind of a synthetic hair and the wigs are really long. So it's really long hair when I'm using a whole bunch of it. When I took the Dreame X50 and the MOVA V50 at my house, they have that same brush roller. I didn't have any problems with hair clumping or anything. My dog sheds. The hairs aren't super long. They're long. And my wife has long hair, but I never noticed the big clumping of the hair at my house. And I had zero hair on the brush roller. So again, I do appreciate everybody's support. This is going to be a highly recommended robot for me. Is it absolutely perfect? No. This under 300 price point range, no robot is perfect. But the Dreame app is good. The auto empty, the suction power is good. Yeah, I think you're going to have a great user experience with this. So again, I do appreciate everybody's support. Videos coming up soon. I did get the Aqua, the Dreame Aqua. That thing was $1,700. It's September, so it's in September's budget. Yeah, August budget was really bad, but thankfully I did send the iRobot $1,300 robot back because I had a problem with it. But it turns out it probably wasn't a problem. I just needed to let it update some more. So check out that video. I will be getting it again. I did get the MOVA Z60. I can't keep track of all these numbers. I did buy that. It's coming in. I think it's coming tomorrow. But again, this is going to be an entry level. Same with the Flow is not, even though it's got my sticker, it's probably going to get the sticker removed. There's just other things going on with it. The more advanced robots are Gen 1. Like the mop rollers I'm testing, they're all Gen 1. I don't know how these new ones are going to be, but we've got good results still with the Mova P10 Pro. We don't need to jump. That's a $600 robot. We don't need to be jumping up to $15, $1,400 robots yet. They're not that much more advanced. The mop rollers are all Gen 1 in my opinion. That may be the future. They just got a ways to go in my opinion. And I'm going to talk more about that later. But again, this one, it's going to be, I get that question a lot. I don't want mopping, just what's a good vacuum cleaner. I think this is going to give you a good user experience because I was going to recommend the Roborock. Well, the Q10 would be a good option. And I have told people that, the Q10 S5 or X5, but it's got a pretty good mop on it. It can lift it up and down, which is nice. You're still in charge of cleaning the mop pad. It's just got comb for the long hairs, which I think works okay. I think this might work a little bit better. That's just a really weird area, unfortunately, because once they start throwing technology on these robots that help with mopping, the price goes up. So nobody's really making a robot that's just vacuum only. I know iRobot makes some. I'm not like the 705. I've tested it. It's just not there yet. There's too much hassle factor in my opinion. And the auto empty system wasn't working the best. And Roborock makes there's a bunch of Q5s. There's a Q8. Those price points are just too expensive for me. And their suction power is low. And they've got kind of the older design of the double brush roller that it gets hair wrap. So really trying to find this area of, again, the best robot without mopping. And it's turning out to be harder than robots that mop. There's a lot of work involved with this because there's kind of two tier now. There's kind of like the budget, the 300 to 600 range, and there's the over $1,000 range, which is getting really, really hard to test. But this best vacuum only. I know there's a bunch of Sharks out there. I don't like the Shark app. I think it's way too much hassle factor. You're so limited. It's frustrating. They do an okay job, but they're so old. Things are, at least Dreame, at least they're increasing the suction power. You've got a good app. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than the Shark? Yeah, the app's better. The cleaning power is better. It's not bagless. These are bags. I know there's this debate whether they're going to still make the bags for these or not. I can't answer that for you, but I do like ones that have bags. I know the Sharks and them don't have bags, but they got a lot of cleaning to do on filters that are super dirty. They're kind of like you're in contact with that dirt. So I like bags that you just take the bag out, throw it away. You're not in contact with a lot of dust and debris from the robot. So I'll be taking these to my house, doing a lot more testing on it right now. I think they're going to be really, really good robots. I'll be doing the comparison. Really do appreciate everybody's support. Thanks everybody for liking. JustADadApproved.com. Sign up for my email. When these go on sale, I send an email out once a week, maybe twice a week during the sale events and stuff. Labor Day, I sent 2 out during that week because there was a lot of good sales. Labor Day, when these holidays and these major events, Amazon Prime days, whatever, these robots go on big sales. It's just, we can't miss these sales, The Mova P10 Pro was $450, and normally it's $600. That's a $150 savings. That's huge. So sign up for my email, justadapproved.com. More videos coming soon. A bunch of mop roller videos coming soon. Those are super hard to test. I don't think we're there yet. I got a whole topic on that. So again, thanks everybody for watching. If you could, please like, subscribe, and justadapproved.com.